Hey, how's everybody doing today? Thanks for joining me. My name's Brad. I work for Shipping Easy. I've been with the company for about 5 years now, and I've worked in sales and support and onboarding. And so I've got a lot of experience as far as the software goes in the e-commerce and shipping industry. And today we are going to talk about how to utilize the Shipping Easy orders page, specifically for the purposes of quickly generating a shipping label. So it's not going to be anything that's too terribly in depth or too complicated of an idea or usage of the software. I just really want to present everybody with a really basic and straightforward way to print your packages or shipping labels, that is. So what are we going to cover today? As I mentioned, we'll ship from the orders page to Shipping Easy. To do that, we're going to create what's called a shipping preset. So this will be the first step that I take you through within the application, and I'll explain what that is in more detail in just a minute. And then we'll talk a little bit before we actually jump into the application, just around some e-commerce tips and trends that I've noticed and like to bring up on these calls, because I know there are a lot of new shippers and new e-commerce businesses that join me on these weekly webinars. So if you're brand new, I don't want to overwhelm you with all the details. We're going to just go with some rules of thumb that can hopefully help you get started and everything like that. If you have any questions too, I'm going to answer those at the end. We've got a Q&A portion built into this webinar, and then you can also use the Q&A box in Zoom. You can chat in as well. I see some of you have found the chat box. I'll answer all the questions at the end, so if I don't get to it right away, I will, of course, circle back. And you can ask me anything. It can be around what we covered today on the orders page and then presets. It could be about a shipping rule. You could ask me about a carrier. You could ask me what my favorite dessert is. It's strawberry shortcake, actually, or maybe pumpkin pie. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, it's pumpkin pie. I'll be happy to answer any of those questions in depth and truthfully as possible. So we'll go ahead and get started. So let's go with just a couple of general rules of thumb that I've noticed in my time with Shipping Easy and helping merchants fulfill and ship their orders. Lighter weight packages are going to be really nice for the post office. Shipping things that are less than 10 pounds all the way down to a few ounces, the post office is generally going to be your most affordable and efficient means of transportation. They definitely own the market on first class, so anything less than a pound. First class service is really great to use. Anything over a pound, priority mail is a really good service too. And that goes to about 8 to 10 pounds is about the sweet spot for the post office. As you get into heavier and larger packages, definitely check out UPS and FedEx. That's where those carriers really start to shine. Now, a big difference between UPS, FedEx, and the post office has, we'll call it set rates that are available to the general public. With UPS and FedEx, they have retail and set rates as well, but you do have the ability to negotiate with them to get a better deal. So maybe when you start shipping, you're only shipping a couple packages a week, and UPS is going to charge you $15 for those packages when you're starting out. But maybe you start shipping 20 packages a week and you have some volume to prove to them. Well, maybe instead of 15 bucks, they lower it down to 14 or 13 or what have you. You have some real negotiating power with those carriers on those heavier packages. So I would definitely invite you to explore all of the carrier options, but just as a general rule of thumb, the lighter weight packages will go through the post office. Those will typically be the most affordable and economical way to ship those. And heavier packages, larger packages go with UPS and FedEx. Those are rules of thumb. There's exceptions, of course, but those are just some good general rules of thumb if you're trying to evaluate, well, who do I ship with? If you're brand new to e-commerce, welcome. It's an awesome space, and there's a lot of opportunity here. I would definitely consider, typically most e-commerce sellers I speak with when they're starting out, they either choose a website that they list their products on, or they choose a marketplace to sell their products. I encourage you to do both. The reason being is you have advantages to both of them. There's not really any downside from having your product in multiple places, right? That's more sales. Shopify, for example, probably the largest platform that I work with throughout the software. Shopify is great because it's very straightforward to set up a site, and then it's very easy. It's a simple integration with our software, and you get to control your entire brand message. So you can say, you can redirect people back to your site for promotions you're having. You control the entire message behind your products. Now, if you're just starting out, maybe you don't have a cultivated customer base yet. Well, that's where Amazon really comes in to handy as well. So maybe you list your products on Amazon, or maybe just a few. But what that does is it exposes your products to a wider audience than if you're just starting out on your own website. So it's really good to use both of those in complementary ways to help just overall build your brand and stimulate your business. And then the last thing, and this is a humble brag about Shipping Easy, but we're an all-inclusive software. So if you haven't already, we have additional features that I'm not going to go over today unless somebody asks a question around them. But these are features that are complementary and really important to get in place early on in your shipping lifespan. And these are inventory and customer marketing features. So you're already doing your shipping through our software. We're integrated with your website. So we're downloading all of that order data. Well, the nice thing about Shipping Easy is that we can take that order data and balance your inventory levels across all your platforms and your master inventory sheet as well. So you're not having to stay late at night and work through Excel worksheets, which I've done personally. It's a real pain. That stuff all occurs automatically because we've got that order data and that SKU data. And then same with customer marketing. We've got that order data so we can log in and see, oh, Brad in Austin, Texas ordered 5 mugs from me last week. That's great. He's on the special mug club or whatever we're going to call it. Send him a promotion and then he's more likely to buy from you. So these are solutions that you can get in place. If you can get them in place early, it really helps down the line for when your business is really starting to grow. Because if something goes wrong, if you have any questions, it's one phone call you have to make versus 3. You don't have to call the shipping solution, then you don't have to call the inventory solution, then you don't have to call the customer marketing. You make one phone call, we can knock it all out instantaneously. But those are just some general rules of thumb, some things that I've noticed in my time with Shipping Easy. When I started in 2015, we didn't have inventory or customer marketing. And I would say inventory was probably the #1 asked feature request for the first at least 2 years that I was with the company. And we got it, and it's great. But we're going to go to the actual orders page and start shipping. So this is it. This is the Shipping Easy orders page. If you have a site on Shopify, on Amazon, on BigCommerce, Magento, there's a ton of different platforms we integrate with. As soon as an order is placed, it's going to land right here. And as you can see, all of my orders are organized into various rows, which I can sort. And what I mean by sorting is right now they're arranged by their age. So I have my newest orders populated at the top of the page, and my oldest orders, if I were to scroll down all the way to the bottom, they're going to be at the bottom of the page. I have orders all the way from May of last year. Oh no, that was 2 years ago. Yeah, that person's probably not happy. But my point being is that these columns, these various columns, which hold pieces of information about your orders, they can be sorted in an ascending manner or descending manner. And the other cool thing about these columns is they are completely customizable. So maybe you have a store, but you don't necessarily need to know the SKU information, or maybe you don't have warehouse bins set up yet because you just have 2 products and they're just housed in the same spot. Well, you can actually arrange those columns and customize them. On the left-hand side are all of the columns that are available for use, and all of the right-hand side columns are currently in use. So if I want to use internal notes, well, I can just drag that over and save it. And now I have an internal note column right here between my recipient and my item name. So again, this is just for how you're going to sort all of your orders on the orders page, or at least we'll call it the returned orders. And I'm going to explain what that means now. So when I say returned orders, I'm referring to our filters on the left-hand side right here. So all of these little drop-down guys that you can click on, they're called a filter because what they're going to do is they're going to take all of my orders, all 150 of them, and then filter them down to a subset of orders that I want to process. So going back to my introduction where I explained how the post office is great for anything that's lighter weight. Maybe I know that every package that is under £1 needs to go first class. That's just going to be an easy thing. Let's process all those guys together because they're first class. It's under £1. It's the most affordable way for me to ship these. Well, if I use the filters on the left-hand side of my orders page, I can actually filter it by the weight. As you can see, we have one that is less than £1. So watch this. My orders are currently at 150 of 150. So that is all of my orders that I have on the page. But if I click 1 pound or less than 1 pound, 62 orders are returned. I could then, in theory, group all of these guys together and print them all off as first class because they're all going to go under a pound. That's the service that I want to use. Now, the really cool thing about filters too, if you have a more in-depth shipping process, you can combine these filters and be very specific. So maybe I want everything that's under a pound and going to zone 6. Well, that's a much smaller subset of my orders because it's very specific criteria that I'm asking the software for. Now I have 4 of 4 results returned, and I can ship these in whatever manner or process them in whatever way makes the most sense. The last thing I'll mention on the filters, which is really cool, is going back to if you have multiple ways of fulfilling your orders and you're going to be using different combinations for filters, it might be kind of tedious to come in here every day and click down the zone and click down the weight and click down the address type. No problem. You can set that up one time and save it as a view. So up here, we have these saved views, and a view is just a combination of filters. As you can see, I have multiple views already saved. So I can just come in here in the morning, click on my view for zone 7, and that means that I'm looking for every order that is between 1 and 3 pounds and going to zone 7. Now, this is a demo account. That means absolutely nothing because these orders aren't going to be shipped. But perhaps in your Shipping Easy account, it will mean something. So you have the ability to come in here, process these 6 labels, toggle to my next view. We'll say test view 1. Zones 1 through 3, 1 to 3 pounds, process those and go about my day. So that's the organization of the orders page, which I think I definitely invite you to take a look at and think about, well, what makes the most sense for how I'm fulfilling my orders, because this is going to cut minutes off of your processing time. Even if you're just shipping 1 or 2 packages a day or a week, it's good to get in the habit of being organized with your shipping. That's the biggest thing that I also like to stress is no matter the size of the company, you're never too small to be organized, because that information, trying to track down a customer's order, the tracking, I mean, that's a pain when you've just got a single order to look for, and it's a pain when you've got 10,000 orders to look for. So it's just something that I definitely invite you to make sure that you take the time to set up is making sure that you've got a process in place for how you can process your orders. We're going to jump off this page real quick. I'm going to show you how to ship a package, but first we want to go through how to set up a preset. This was a portion of the webinar that I actually added this week, so you guys are my guinea pigs to see if this makes sense. But essentially a preset is a combination of a carrier, a service, and a package type. So if you can see right here under the shipping selection column, we have the carrier, which is the United States Postal Service, the service, which is first class mail, and the package type. That just says packaging. It's a generic package type. I don't really need the dimensions for a first class package, but that's a preset. It's just a combination of that information that I'm going to ship with. As you can see, I have access to all of these different presets across different carriers and different packaging and service types. Now, I'm going to show you how to use these, but I want to make sure that you guys understand how to set these up. We give you presets in the account. There's a bunch of stocked ones in there already, like a small flat rate box, padded flat rate envelope. These things are already in there, but I want you to be familiar also with how to create your own, because everybody ships very differently than one another. So as you can see, I've got some custom boxes in there. So let's click on settings in the upper right-hand corner. Take some more coffee. Ooh. On the right-hand side of this page, we're going to click on shipping presets. It's beneath the shipment settings. It's not really a drop down. I guess it's the menu header. As you can see, we've got a bunch of different presets here from past webinars. Now I want to show you this picture because I love it. Notice the stars upon thars. This is a Sneetch. It is from Dr. Seuss. And I bring this up because it's important to remember. Anything with a star on your preset page, so anything right here with stars on it, that means that it's going to show up on your orders page. Anything without a star, so no stars upon thars, means that it's not going to show up on the orders page. So I want to make sure that is clear as well. See, stars, they'll all be there on my orders page. I can toggle to them. No stars, they won't be there. Now, there's a number of reasons why I have presets that aren't available on the orders page. It can be used in a number of different circumstances, but this is just the most clear I wanted to be on that. So here are my presets that I can use. Let's go ahead and create a new one with new preset. Here are my various carrier choices. I've got the post office. I've got my UPS account. I've got stamps.com's UPS account. I'll discuss that at the very end. And I also have a FedEx account plugged in. Let's go ahead and use the post office. So I've selected the carrier. Remember, that's step one for a preset. We need the carrier. Next, we need the service. So let's go with media mail. Maybe I ship textbooks to students. Media mail is a great, effective way to do that. So let's go ahead and select that guy. And then maybe I have a special box. The last step, that third step, is a package type. So I can either select from a package I have already created in the software. As you can see in the upper left-hand side, we have a package setup option there if you want to go ahead and do that. You can do it from either place, this page or the package setup page. Or maybe I want to add a new one. We'll say add new package. We'll call this bookworm. Man, caps lock is not good. And it is a 7 by 7 by 42. That's a realistic package dimension. And then the add to weight, before I jump off of the add to or add new package, a lot of questions come in about override weight versus add to weight. I always encourage you to use the add to weight. Add to weight is just the weight of the package. So I don't have any packages here. I'm in my bedroom, but here's my briefcase, right? Maybe this is the package I'm going to ship out. Well, it weighs, we'll say 12 ounces. So just by itself, it's 12 ounces, but I'm going to ship this computer, and this computer weighs 12 ounces. So together they're 24 ounces total. Well, the add to weight is going to add that 12 ounces. If I do override and I say it's 12 ounces on this package, then it's going to say both of these guys together are 12 ounces. It overrides the entire weight of the package, which we want to avoid. We want to be accurate. So I hope that's clear. Just use the add to weight. It's the actual weight of the package itself. We'll save and continue. I'm not going to because I'm not going to save this preset. Here's the last step. We need to confirm that everything looks good. We've got United States Postal, going media mail, and then in our shoebox or whatever box I've decided. We'll create that preset. Again, I've got too many presets, so I'm not going to add any more to it. And then it's ready for use. So that is how you create a preset. Again, it's a carrier, it's a service, and it's a package that can then be used on the orders page of Shipping Easy. Let's get into the actual shipping now. So let's suppose we've got all our presets set up, we're happy, and we're ready to go. So we're back on the orders page. We're going to start processing some shipments now. Well, all you have to do is click on the actual order itself, and you'll get your order slide out. Now, right now, it's just set to a first class package because I have an automation feature set up to do it. And it's just really the software is thinking about the weight of the package. Maybe I want to actually ship this in a different manner, and maybe this actually weighs something different. So on this order slide out, you can affect a bunch of different things on the order. Right now, I just have this item, but maybe I want to add another item to it. So we'll say add 4. It's a mouse pad. We'll update the order. Whoops, quantity 1. $100 mouse pad. Wow, that's a really nice mouse pad. And then as you can see, the rate changed. So we've got $4.32, and maybe, well, just maybe I know that that weight's not accurate or something. Maybe I can just change it to, we'll say 2 pounds. Update. Now this is important to notice too, because our software is smart enough to know you can't ship a first class package 2 pounds basically. This has to go to priority mail. So we'll give you a little warning saying, hey, be careful, this has to be under a pound to ship. So I'll just toggle this over to my 7 by 7 by 7 preset that I just set up. We'll update the rate. That's much better. So I've got $9.22. Sounds right to me. Let's go ahead and buy this label. The order slide out drops down. The order is removed from the orders page to prevent any double shipping or anything like that. It's good. This, in theory, should print a label for my printer. I don't have mine hooked up right now because this is a test account. Now, what happens to the order once we print the shipping label? Well, it goes to your shipment history page. So if you hover over shipments in the blue stripe across the top, we're going to click on shipment history, and it's just that. It's a history of your shipments. Here's my order that I just shipped right now. It's got all the information on it that I need as far as the delivery status, which is new, the tracking number. If I click it, it'll take me to USPS.com, or I'm sorry, my branded tracking page. This is set up on my account. It's a nice little feature we have where it's more custom to your brand rather than just the post office website. I'll talk about that later. And then I can also go back and filter, much like on the orders page, to the past 30, 60, and 90 days. Now, if I need to go back and look for a shipment that was printed 91 days ago, I can create a report and go search for that guy, or I can use the global search bar for that. We don't include shipments beyond 90 days on here, as to do with like data storage things and all that for this specific page. So if you need anything beyond 90 days, it's still available to you. There are just other avenues you'll need to retrieve it at. And again, global search right here, we could type it in, or we could generate a report specifically for that order or a conglomerate of orders that I need. But this page will basically break it all down for you. I can reprint from here, click print. There's my test label. I've got my cool lion logo on there. We know exactly where it's going. This is a McDonald's in New York. This is what the person has ordered. We can customize these labels to include whatever information or most information that is that you'd like there. And again, you can click reprint 1,000,000 times and only pay for the label once. The last thing I'm going to show you on this page is really, it's geared more towards if you have multiple shipments going out in a day. The post office likes, for post office specifically, likes for you to have what's called a scan form. And what a scan form does is it's a piece of paper that takes this barcode and the barcode of multiple packages and condenses them into one. So if you're going to ship out like 5 packages and above, it's probably a good idea to try to have a scan form ready for the post office. It's just a normal 8.5 by 11 paper that has just a single barcode. So that way your postal worker doesn't have to scan a bunch of different packages. They can just scan one barcode. Everything gets locked into the Mailstream system, and then they can begin carting out your packages. To generate a scan form in Shipping Easy, you come to your shipment history page, and then beneath label actions, we have USPS scan form right there. So if you click that, it will direct you to this page, which will display all of your eligible shipments for that day's scan form. I've only got one, so I probably wouldn't need a scan form in this instance, but if I had like 30, we'd probably want to generate a scan form just to make things easier from a logistic standpoint. That is it as far as what I really wanted to cover today. So just to recap, we talked about sorting on the orders page, which is just arranging these orders in an ascending or descending manner, whichever makes the most sense for you. And then we also talked about filtering, which is cutting down the results per page on the orders page. Then we talked about how to set up a preset, which is your shipping presets right here. Going through all of those. And then we just talked about how to leverage that preset on the orders page, which just includes that order slide out as I just showed. Or you can use this shipping selection too. Maybe we don't need to make any adjustments here. I can just drop this down, switch it over to UPS, and then click buy label in that manner. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to questions. Will you be emailing these slides as well? Yes, I am. Basically, yeah, the short answer is yes. You guys will get a follow-up email from us that will include all of these slides. So here's the one that we touched on. This explains what a shipping preset is. I love that stocked image. It's very funny to me. There's the Sneeches talking about the preset page, creating a preset. Yeah, so everybody's going to get these slides. I do these every week too, so feel free to join me next week. I get asked questions I've never been asked before pretty regularly, so yeah, every one of these sessions is very unique. But yeah, short answer is you will get these slides. So let's see. Do I need to be approved to create a sub account? Someone's asking about a sub account, and I hope I'm going to answer, I hope we're on the same page as what a sub account is. A sub account in Shipping Easy refers to how you buy postage. So if we click on my one balance, this is where I have my stamps.com account plugged in. I have my UPS account, my FedEx account. Well, a sub account is just another way to purchase postage in the software, but it has a different payment method. So maybe all of my orders for my Shopify store need to be billed through a outside party's UPS account or something like that, well, you can use sub accounts to accomplish that. And you don't have to be approved or anything like that. Just give us a call or shoot us an email or chat us in the upper left-hand corner and say, hey, I need to get sub accounts enabled on my account to purchase postage for this in this scenario and everything like that. So yeah, that's the answer to the question. You don't have to be approved for it. You can just give us a call or get in contact with us. We'll turn it on in your account. They're not automatically enabled in your account. So just contact us in whatever way makes the most sense and we'll turn them on for you. Let's see. How do you determine what the zones 1 to 7 are set up for? When shipping prime, shipping zones are critical to know. If I understand your question correctly, I think you're asking how do you identify what zone a package is going to? I hope I'm correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's okay. How do I identify? Perfect. So to find the zone of the package, there's a couple of different ways. I mean, you've got your filters on the left-hand side right here. So you could definitely just filter down to that and knowing, okay, I've got all my Amazon Prime labels that are going to zone 7. This is how we're going to ship them out. Well, we could click zone 7, go down to our Prime filter, Prime orders. So I only have Prime orders that are zone 7. Now, I don't have any because this is a test account, but if I did, they would be populated. Conversely, on the right-hand side of the page, as you can see, we have a zone column. So I could actually just move this bad boy over to the left more, if that's an important part of my shipping process, and say, oh, okay, here's all my ones. And again, you can sort ascendingly or descendingly based on the zone itself. As you can see, I've got one going down, or maybe we're going to start with like international at the top. Completely up to you, but that's how you're going to determine the zone of the actual package. That information's on the orders page, and it carries into other places of the application as well. Let's see. Star versus not star. Can you go over the significance of that and how to make my custom packages starred? Absolutely. So let's X out of all these things right here. No. Shoot, I'm sorry. Let me screen share again. How many weeks are we into this pandemic and I can't get Zoom to work? This is embarrassing. There we go. Okay, so to get a preset on this page, on the orders page, as you can see, remember, anything with a star next to it means that it's going to show up in this list of presets on my orders page. To make that happen, we'll click on settings in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to click on the presets, shipping presets option on the right-hand side. And here are those stars. So anything with a star means that it shows up on the orders page. Anything without a star that's grayed out means that it does not. So we've got this next day air package. And just to confirm, if I go back to the orders page, let me go in the back way here. So we're looking for next day air by UPS. Is that available? Currently, it is not. So to get that available on the orders page, I would then click next day air package. It's good to go. We don't even have to save it. As soon as it has a star on it, you are ready to go. And then let me pull back over here to the orders page. And again, which one are we looking for? We're looking for UPS next day air. Drop that down. Oh, I've got this sorted by international. That's why. So here we go. We'll sort by zone again. We'll go zone 1, next day air. It is now available. That's the other cool thing about our software, is because I had this sorted ascendingly, it started with international orders. And I can't ship a domestic UPS order internationally, can I? No, I cannot. So I didn't have that option. But now that I'm back in zone 1, good old US of A, I can ship this the next day if I'd like to a zone 1. Now that seems kind of excessive, but maybe I'm shipping perishables or something like that, or goldfish. Great question. Let's see. Does your UPS account have certain set discounted rates? Great question. So I mentioned this earlier that I was going to talk about our UPS One Balance account. So in One Balance and Carriers in the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice UPS appears twice on here. We've got one associated with the stamps.com account, and then I've got this one at the bottom right here. Now, there's a fine distinction between these two. This UPS account that's lumped into the stamps.com account, that is stamps.com's UPS rates. So Shipping Easy through our parent company, stamps.com, is able to provide you really great UPS rates. And this is a great way to see if you don't have any sort of contracts or negotiations with UPS currently. This is a great way to get in the door and familiar with their services. These rates are up to, I think it's like 60% off retail. It's really out of the box. Just to be presented with these rates is a really cool opportunity. So all you have to do is come into One Balance and Carriers. And on my account, there's no link there, but on yours, if you don't have it, it'll say add UPS. Fill out the information and you'll have access to UPS's rates. You can still use your own. I could still ship with UPS, my own UPS account if I wanted to. You're by no means forced to use stamps.com's UPS rates, but it gives you the added benefit. If my UPS rates aren't that good, well, there's a chance that stamps.com's are better and can save me some money for my bigger packages. Great question. Does Shipping Easy have the ability to create rules for automatic order creation? So we can't create an order automatically, but we can affect an order based on a shipping rule. I'll just kind of touch on this just briefly because I actually have a webinar on Thursday that I hope many of you can make. And this webinar is specifically around automation features like shipping rules, which are just if-then statements. But we can't create a rule to create an order, but you can do different things to that order once it's downloaded into Shipping Easy. You could say, if the order is under 1 pound, then assign it to the United States Postal Service First Class. That's a shipping rule. If identifies the conditions for the order, then assigns an action to the order. So can't create the order itself, but we can do a whole heck of a lot of things to that order once it's downloaded into our system. Can you delete or clear out part or all of my list of orders that were fulfilled via some other means? Yeah, that's a great question. So someone's asking if they've downloaded or if orders have been downloaded or created within Shipping Easy, can the software clear them out or just remove them? Yes, as a matter of fact, it happens in two ways. The first way is automatically. So if you have a Shopify store integrated with Shipping Easy, and my sister places an order on that store, well, her information is downloaded into Shipping Easy, but then she says, you know what, I don't actually want this, and she cancels her order. If you clear that order in Shopify, Shipping Easy will automatically clear that order out of our software. So we don't ship Sarah Pendleton whatever we're shipping her, be it live goldfish or an iPad or what have you. So that happens automatically through the API and the various platforms that we integrate with. You can also set up, again, shipping rules. This would be a good thing to touch on Thursday, to say if the order contains this product and it's going to be fulfilled by someone else. There's a lot of merchants that will have products that they won't actually fulfill, but they'll still come in on orders. You can have automatic rules clear out those orders. So if SKU 1, 2, 3 is downloaded into Shipping Easy, then clear the order. So we know, oh, this mug has been downloaded, but I don't actually ship these. That's the guy out in Arkansas doing it. We need to just get this out of here so we don't ship or create like a shipping label for it and lose money. But yeah, that's essentially the short answer of your question is yes, you can. Can you merge orders? Absolutely. Man, you guys got a lot of good questions coming in. So let's go back to the orders page. This is where basically the order management occurs. Imagine that, order management happening on the orders page. If I see orders that I want to combine, no problem. We can just select them, 1, 2. These are gonna both go to me, the mouse pad, and then this Pop Shield collectible, and we'll say combine order. Now, this is important to point out because you have selected, which would just be the orders going, the 2 that I have selected right now. Or if you want, you can just come in here and combine with all same recipient. It's another great filter to use on the left-hand side. You can see just all of your orders, which is just everybody in its raw form. Or if I want to see the duplicate orders that I have, and this would be the same ship to address and recipient, we can filter to that specifically as well. But yeah, I could combine everybody together if I wanted, or I could just do it on the selected ones. Let's open up, where is that? It's Q&A and chat, there it is. Okay, sorry, let me go back up to chat here. How do we determine star versus no star? Sometimes a large group of order numbers are missing. Interesting. So somebody is asking why a large group of order numbers are missing. Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, that's a very broad question. There's a lot going on in the software. I would suspect that whenever people say, "Hey, I'm missing an order" or something like that, a lot of times it boils down to them shipping it elsewhere, which I definitely don't recommend. Just again, going back to that organization piece, and not to sound like your parents or anything, but you got to get on track. You got to be organized. Using multiple shipping softwares to fulfill your orders is just, it kind of wreaks havoc. People have called me directly and said, well, why isn't such and such working? And I'm like, no, I work for Shipping Easy. That's a different company. You're not shipping your orders through us. So that's the most common one, is if you ship an order elsewhere. And again, it goes back to that platform being updated because you shipped it from somewhere else. It will clear out of Shipping Easy. So that's my guess, potentially, without knowing like an order example. And I don't want to get into like the actual troubleshooting of your personal account. That would be my first place to look, is if you're fulfilling orders in another software, or maybe you're using FBA and you weren't expecting that order to go FBA, but it did. There are a lot of variables there. Reach out to us if you're finding that like large swaths of your orders are disappearing and it's interfering with your shipping. That's something we'll dig into. It's just a little too broad at this time to really get into, for me to offer any sort of specifics as far as why that's occurring. Can you print your shipping labels followed by the packing slip? Great question. Someone's asking about printing the shipping label followed by its packing slip. Yes, this is a great way to keep everything organized and orderly. So what they're asking is, we'll print the shipping label for this keyboard, but I also am going to send them a packing slip. It's just an invoice that says, hey, here's your keyboard, here's how much it cost, or whatever other information I want on there. So we'll click on settings in the upper right-hand corner. If I can find my mouse. And on the right-hand side, under label sizes and printing options, we're going to select labels. And here's what I have set up right now. So I have just a standard 4x6 printer. It's a Dymo or a Zebra. Those are the two biggest ones. Right now I have it selected to just a label. But if I wanted to switch it to the label in the packing slip, well, you can see label settings have been updated. We'll save it. And let's take a quick look at what that will look like on here. So we'll just go ahead and buy $311. That's a lot of money. Can you imagine paying $311 for shipping? That's, I mean, it's an international order, so it's not like unheard of, but that's really high. My UPS rates aren't good though. So we'll buy this thick envelope here. No, we'll do the priority mail one. Buy that label. Now I'm going to the ready to print page. Some of you guys might use the ready to print page, others may not. I don't have direct printing set up. Obviously it'd be a waste of paper in these webinars. So I just come here, we'll click print. Whoops, that's not the order. Which one was it? There it is. So here's my my shipping label that I just created. So I can print off the label, and behind it is going to come to be my packing slip. Now this isn't very pretty because my packing slip hasn't been touched in literally years. So I need to really condense that. There's information on here that I don't need, like the build to and the ship to. A lot of this stuff can be just removed, because at the end of the day, the customer only cares about maybe the name of the item to make sure, oh yeah, this is in fact a keyboard, or no, this says golf shirt, but this is a keyboard. What's going on? And maybe your return policy. So they can both come out of the printer at the same time or separately. It's up to you. Can we ship with GSO? I am not familiar with GSO. Is that like a logistics company or a carrier? I'll need some more information on that. My knee-jerk reaction is we don't support that, but I'm not familiar with what that is. Do you guys have a DHL account we can use for inbound international shipments? We do not. You can plug in your own DHL account into Shipping Easy. You wouldn't utilize it for those purposes though either, as far as like importing shipments. All of our stuff's going to be going out the door rather than bringing it in. But as you can see, we've got DHL at the bottom that we do support. We've got APC and some other guys there too for different consolidators. Question about zones. Are the zones in my current system based on my location? Somebody had another question about shipping zones. So they are based on your ship from location. So zone 1 from me in Austin is different than zone 1 from my mother in Indianapolis. So yeah, they're based on your ship from location, which we might as well talk about that, right? So we'll go up here. Settings in the upper right-hand corner. Then we're gonna click on ship from addresses. I've got a bunch of different ones on my test account, but this 78701 is what the software is saying, oh, okay, it's zone 1 from that. If you're not familiar with how zones work, they're units of distance measurement. So zone 1 in Austin would be like Austin to San Antonio is like zone 1, maybe zone 2. It's probably zone 1. But like Austin to San Diego is going to be like zone 6 or 7. So the further out you get, the higher the zones go. Closer you are, the smaller the zones are. If I need to print 300 labels, what is the easiest way to print them all at once? Great question. So we support batches of 200 labels. So you can print up to 200 labels at one time. So if we're on the orders page of Shipping Easy, and let's suppose that you've gone through, you set up your presets, maybe you only ship these keyboards and you're only shipping everything one way. Well, all you need to do is have a rate quote. As soon as you see a rate populate in one of these boxes, you're good to ship. So on the left-hand side, we actually have a filter, which is really nice for breaking up your bulk shipping. So if you're doing like 100 orders a day and you know 50 of them are all going to be the busy work, the things that you can just ship in your sleep, which I hope you're not shipping in your sleep. I hope you're dreaming of something better. These are good candidates for the bulk shipping. Now, this can go across different carriers and different service types, but as long as they have a rate quote and you're comfortable with that rate quote, you can say, I want all the orders with a rate quote. And then if we go back and look, I had 150 orders. Now I've got 44 that have rate quotes and are ready to ship. I can highlight everybody and click buy labels, and they will start coming out of my my label machine right then and there. So that's about as easy as it gets, and that's the American dream of using Shipping Easy. I would say if you're new to Shipping Easy and you're new to bulk shipping, use this feature very sparingly, but just make sure that you're very comfortable with the rates that you're seeing here before you buy them, because otherwise you'll buy a bunch of labels that will just need to be canceled or redone. So we'll take baby steps first, and we'll eventually get there. And it's not, and I say eventually, it's maybe most companies are able to utilize that feature within the first week, but the first day, let's take it just a little easy. Let's see. Can you delete? No, we already said that one. Oh, wait. No. Can you merge orders? How do you add a logo to Shipping Easy and packaging labels? Great question. We'll go into settings in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to click on the stores and orders. What do you call that? A link under integration? As you can see, here's a list of all the stores I have plugged into Shipping Easy right now. I've got a CSV store, I've got Shopify and Amazon. So to add my logo, I'll just click on the store that I want to add. Now, this is an important concept, is that each store is unique in Shipping Easy. So we look at your Shopify store differently than we look at your Amazon store. So you want to make sure that you are customizing the right store. For example, you wouldn't put your logo on the Amazon store because they're very controlling of the brand and message, going back to the beginning of the webinar. So for Shopify though, we'll click on that guy. I've got my store options right here. We can say branding, and then here is where I'll actually add my logo. Now I can add this to the packing slips and emails, and I can add it to the shipping label. So you'll come here, you'll upload the file, and then you'll save. We can also include a packing slip message that says, don't call me after 3 p.m. or else. It's very ominous. I'm very antagonistic towards my customers, so I really want to drive that point home on my packing slips. Can you share the link where I can sign up for more of your webinars? Absolutely. That's going to be that'll get emailed to you. It'll be at the end of these slides as well. So when we email these guys over to you, you can just click on each of these slides and they're going to be made available. We need to have like a web page though, don't you think? We should have like a web page that says Shipping Easy webinar or something. That would be really cool and really easy to direct people to. Because right now the onus is on me to get you these slides, and well, I'm dependable, but you know, maybe something happens. I don't. Who knows what could happen? It's the quarantine time right now. But yes, I'm going to make sure that you guys get a copy of this before the end of the day. I'll send it to you directly from Brad at Shipping Easy. What is the advanced view feature at the bottom of the filters? That's an interesting question. Yeah, so advanced view. We'll go back to the orders page. This person is asking about this little toggle right here, advanced view versus on and off. Advanced view is just, I don't know, it's just a combination of the filters that we think are the most simplistic view of Shipping Easy. So if right now I've got all these filters, a lot of stuff's going on here, and it can be overwhelming, or maybe, again, I just don't need this information. If you toggle off that advanced view, the page takes on a very different tone. All those filters are gone. The columns are still there, but for example, we don't have all this extra info and stuff under those buttons. It's really, you're not losing any of that functionality. It's just whether or not you need that readily available. I keep it on because it's my test account, and I like having all those options. But here you go. See, upload orders was gone, add manual order was gone, allocate stock was gone. So it's just a more simplified version. I wouldn't say it's like streamlined, because maybe you have some key information that you need to filter to, and it causes you more time if you don't have that. But that's all it means. It's just like the very nuts and bolts of where the package is going and everything. So let's see here. Packing slip. Oh. When you print the label and packing slip at once, can you have them print to different printers so the packing slips? That's a great question. So to go back to our example of where we're printing the packing slips and labels together, this person's asking, can I have the packing slips come out of this printer and the labels come out of this printer? Maybe I have a Brother LaserJet printer with just a normal size piece of paper, but I have a specific Zebra printer that I'm just going to use for labels, and I want to use the packing slips with the Brother. Well, we'll click settings in the upper right hand corner. Man, I'm losing my mouse. We're going to click on, let's click on, there's so many options. I'm too smart for my own good sometimes. We'll go to printer configuration under hardware and devices. So right now I have just PDF printing right here, as you can see. So this is just opening a new window. This is PDF printing. So I could print from here if I were connected to my printer. But if I click print back in Shipping Easy, it's not going to go to my printer. It goes through a PDF first. But what I could do is I could actually go ahead and, if I had a printer installed on this computer, I could add it here and then just drop down my labels to be in those bubbles and leave the packing slip for PDF, or leave the packing slip for a different printer. So the short answer is yes, you could have all your USPS labels go through my Zebra, and I could have all of their corresponding packing slips go through the Brother. The really cool thing about it is that everything comes out sequentially, depending on how you like to set it up. So if you go back to labels on the settings page, we have print my labels by order number sequence. So that just means if I've got orders 1 through 10, it's going to start with order 1, 2, 3, 4. The last label to come out should be order 10. It'll correspond like that on your packing slip. So even if you have your shipping labels coming out of one printer and your packing slips coming out of another printer, they're going to be the exact same order. And so you're not going to have to be like, oh, shoot, here's 3 and that's 4. That doesn't match. How do we get this together? Well, they'll be out sequentially, so long as you have them sequentially set up. Now, you can do it by order number. You could do it by selection, SKU, description, warehouse. There's a bunch of different ways. Order number is probably the most straightforward, though. If I need to print 3, oh, we already answered that. Is there a way for my client to print a shipping label easily without my help every time? My work starts when my client sends us a case inside a box. Is there a way for my client to print a shipping label easily without my help every time? So that's, I don't understand that question 100%. I assume this person's asking, is there a way to just have someone be able to log into Shipping Easy and just click print, and that's it. Yes, for all intents and purposes, if you provide them with a user, so we'll go to settings, and I've got my users right here. We could go ahead and create a new one. I've got a bunch of people that work for me right now: Johnny Depp, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Tom Selleck. They're all working for me, and they're okay. I probably pay them too much, but you could essentially set up Tom Selleck with your business and restrict his permissions so that he can only come in here and do certain things. He can't buy postage. He can't go into your reports. He can't make any sort of edits on the settings page. He can just come in, click print, and that's it. So in theory, yes, if you wanted to create like a user, restrict their access, and then maybe set up like a shipping rule that says, this is how I want these particular orders to be shipped. So that way, Tom Selleck's only shipping first class stuff, and he's not shipping priority. You could do that. Tom Selleck and priority mail, they are dangerous. So be aware of that. How do you include international orders from Amazon? Right now, only US orders are able to sync from my Amazon account to Shipping Easy. Okay. International orders should be downloading. So that would be, I would recommend reaching out to our support team. I'm not sure specifically what you're running into or what the case could be in this instance. I will say you can filter on the left-hand side, specifically by address type. There's an international filter there. So if you are getting international orders on Amazon, they should be syncing into Shipping Easy. That's going to be a question for our support team. And I would need more information to be able to look up and say, oh yeah, it's this reason, or this is probably it. But that's a good question. That's why our support's here. Is if I can't readily answer it right here, I would just give our support a call or chat or an email. Q&A. Did I miss anything? I'm just going to go back through real quick. Mailing the slides. Awesome. Okay, well, we went over 30 minutes. I don't know why I say these are 30 minutes. I don't want to scare anybody off and say that they're like close to an hour. They typically are, but I mean, I'll answer as many questions as you guys have. Just to recap, I do these every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 1 p.m. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about picking and packing and storing your products. Really, it's just more about being efficient with fulfillment. And then Thursday, we'll talk about my personal favorite shipping rules. Those are some real mind benders that come across. And then, like I said, I will send you guys an email with all of these slides on them to review. And then, like I said as well, these will have the actual links on them for you to register for next week's, or maybe 6 months from now, you'll come back and say, hey, let's take another look at these. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. You guys have a great rest of your Tuesday, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And let's see if I can be a really good DJ and do the old fade in there.